For the Prime Minister's son-in-law selection, 2 bowls of sweet soup were served, 1 bowl of white fungus and lotus seed soup, 1 bowl of osmanthus wine fermented rice balls. My half-sister and I watched from behind the screen as Xiao Jingyuan hesitated for a long while, finally picking up the white fungus and lotus seed soup. My half-sister chuckled softly. "Sister, you lost. Young Lord Xiao chose me." Xiao Jingyuan knew all along that I could only make 1 sweet soup, the wine-fermented rice balls. "But he didn't choose it," Xiao Jingyuan said softly. "If I don't choose Fuer, she'll reach the age of government-arranged marriage and be matched off. She is a concubine's daughter. What good family could she possibly be matched with? Once she is past the government matching decree, I'll cancel the engagement and marry you." But he forgot. I am Jang Fu's older sister. I am older than her. Without an engagement, in 3 days I would be sent into the palace to bring luck to the crown prince. Watching Xiao Jingyuan's hand brush past the rim of the wine-fermented rice ball bowl, he gently picked up the other bowl of white fungus and lotus seed sweet soup. My heart finally died. My half-sister Jang Fu laughed smugly and brazenly in my ear. "Sister, the young lord chose me." "Don't be sad, sister. The young lord must just pity me. The person he truly loves has always been you, sister." Father's face changed drastically when he saw Xiao Jingyuan choose the white fungus and lotus seed soup. He turned to look at me. What was supposed to be a sure thing? How could it have gone wrong? The Prime Minister's daughter was hosting a banquet today to select a husband, and all the guests present knew it well. At this moment, everyone came forward to congratulate. "Prime Minister, what great fortune you have. Young Lord Xiao is of outstanding character, a fine son-in-law. The young lord and the Prime Minister's legitimate daughter are truly a match made in heaven." Father's face stiffened for a moment. He looked at Xiao Jingyuan. "The young lord has chosen the concubine-born daughter Jang Fu from in the mansion." "Young lord, are you certain?" The way everyone looked at me changed from envy to pity. They had thought the one Xiao Jingyuan chose was me. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be the concubine-born daughter, Jang Fu. How pitiful Jiang Yao is, to have her marriage stolen by her concubine-born younger sister. No way she waited for the young lord for so long. If the marriage falls through, wouldn't she have to submit to the official marriage decree? Xiao Jingyuan walked toward Jang Fu, took her hand and stepped forward. "Prime Minister, my heart is fond of Fuer. I wish to take her as my wife." Gossip and whispers swirled around my ears. Jang Fu was immediately surrounded by a group of noble ladies offering congratulations. She was the future young lord's wife, naturally. People would fawn over her and pamper her. Xiao Jingyuan walked to the corner, stood before me, and coaxed softly. "All right, Yao, don't be angry. It is just an act, nothing more. Fuer cried for a long time last night. If I didn't choose her, she would probably be subject to the official marriage decree. With her lowly status, what good family could she possibly match with? Don't worry. Once she avoids the marriage decree, I'll find a way to cancel the engagement with her. Then I'll welcome you through my doors." I clenched my fists and looked at him. "Young lord, I am Jang Fu's elder sister. Have you ever considered that if our marriage falls through today, I will need to be married off even sooner than Jang Fu? Aren't you worried about me being assigned a marriage by the court?" Xiao Jingyan was stunned for a moment. He had completely forgotten that I was the elder sister, and I would need to be married off even sooner than Jang Fu. Jang Fu walked over and said timidly, "Sister, please don't be angry at the young lord. Fa was just too scared and wanted the young lord to help me this once. You are the legitimate daughter. You wouldn't understand how lowly a concubine's daughter is. No good family would take interest in me. I've lived under Sister's shadow since I was little. Sister has been the pearl of the capital since childhood, and the Duke of Dingguo's manor is your maternal grandfather's family. You excel in everything. How could you possibly be assigned a marriage by the court? Father and your maternal grandfather will surely help you avoid it. You'll be fine. I beg Sister to let Fuer have the young lord, please. I only asked the young lord to help Fuer this once." Jang Fu's words made Xiao Jingyuan feel even more heartache for her. He held Jang Fu protectively in his arms and looked at me. "Yao, Fuer is begging you like this. Isn't that enough? She is right. You are the legitimate daughter and the granddaughter of the Duke of Dingguo. How could you possibly be assigned a marriage by the court? They will surely find a way for you. Once Fu's deadline for court-assigned marriage passes, I will then marry you. It is just a bit of delay. Can't you even wait for that? My eyes stung with tears. I really couldn't wait, even if father was the prime minister and grandfather was the Duke of Dingwo. But the official marriage decree was issued by His Majesty, who would dare to defy it. Even if father and grandfather are powerful, they cannot surpass imperial authority. Moreover, I thought of that imperial edict placed in the ancestral hall. If I remain unmarried before my 18th birthday, I would have to marry into the Eastern Palace as the crown princess. The crown prince is gravely ill. Marrying into the Eastern Palace is merely for bringing good fortune through the wedding. What this means is self-evident. When the imperial edict was delivered to the prime minister's manor, I wasn't worried, because I knew Xiao Jingyuan would marry me, but I never expected such a sudden turn of events. I forced myself to appear calm on the surface, looking at Xiao Jingyuan, with a hint of weakness in my eyes. Young lord, will you really not change your mind? You really want to choose Jang Fu? Does our past promise no longer count? Xiao Jingyuan smiled. It counts. How could it not count? Just wait another half year. Once Fu gets through this, we'll get engaged again. Don't worry. The wife of the Genuine Marquis's young lord will only be you. I closed my eyes, my heart finally died. Jang Fu tightly held onto Xiao Jingyuan's arm, looking coyly at the headpiece on my head. Sister, the young lord said he'll come to propose in 3 days. Could you lend me that coral headpiece set you are wearing? You know I don't have any valuable jewelry to make a good impression. If I lose face then, it would also be losing face for the Prime Minister's manor. It would also prevent others from saying that sister can't tolerate her concubine-born younger sister. Don't you think? This coral headpiece set was the dowry mother left for me. She knew all this, yet still deliberately made such a request. I no longer wanted to humor her. Sister, I cannot give you this headpiece set. I will have father ask Baibao House to send new headpieces for you to choose from. Jang Fu's eyes reddened. But this headpiece set matches my new dress perfectly. Can't I just borrow it to wear and then return it to you? Sister, I know you are unhappy that the young lord chose me, but I really like this coral headpiece set, please. Xiao Jingyuan looked at me with displeasure. Yao, you are being too petty. It is just a headpiece set, why make such a fuss? Give it to a Fu, and I'll have Baibao House send you 2 sets as compensation. All right. 3 days later is the day of their engagement, but it is also the day I will marry into the Eastern Palace. I will wear this headpiece set when I marry. This was my mother's dying wish, and I won't let anyone ruin it. Since you know some things aren't yours, sister, you shouldn't covet them. Xiao Jingyuan frowned and scolded harshly. Enough. Yao choosing Jang Fu as my wife was my decision. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Why hurt the sisterly bond? I stepped back, my voice cold. Young lord, since you've chosen Jang Fu, you are my brother-in-law. Please conduct yourself properly. How can you speak to your wife's elder sister with such disrespect? If you dote on her, even if you buy the entire Baibao House, it is none of my business. But my belongings, Jang Fu, listen well, don't even think about taking a single thing. Jang Fu's tears fell. Sister, I like that headpiece set, only because my concubine mother said she hoped I would wear red attire when I get engaged and married. I just wanted to fulfill her wish. I am only a concubine's daughter. I don't dare to have other extravagant hopes. Can't I even have this small wish? Xiao Jingyuan grabbed me as I was about to leave. His grip made my wrist ache. Zhang Yao, how much silver is your coral headpiece? I'll buy it, all right. After saying that, he reached out and directly removed the headpiece from my hair. I couldn't dodge in time, and my hair fell over my shoulders from his action. For a noble lady, having her hair loose in front of outsiders was an extreme humiliation. Xiao Jingyuan wasn't unaware of this, yet he still did it. He handed the headpiece to Jang Fu. Stop crying. I'll pay your elder sister the silver. I'll buy it and give it to you as part of your dowry. I was furious and slapped Xiao Jingyuan across the face. With a slap, finger marks appeared on his face. I reached out to snatch the headpiece back. Jang Fu, give it back to me. Jang Fu stepped back, and the coral headpiece in her hand fell to the ground. She deliberately stepped back again. Oh no, the headpiece is broken. The headpiece was crushed under her foot, instantly breaking into several pieces. Scattered messily on the ground, she covered her mouth. Sister, if you didn't want to give it, you could have just told me, and I would have returned it to you. Why did you have to snatch it? I didn't do it on purpose. I was just startled and dropped it on the ground. Sister, please don't be angry. I'll give you all my monthly allowance to buy you a new one. Okay, I crouched on the ground, not caring that my hair had come undone, picking up the scattered hairpiece bit by bit. Tears fell on the back of my hand, 1 drop, 2 drops, falling endlessly. Xiao Jingyuan also noticed something was wrong. He crouched down to help me pick them up, saying, "It is just a hairpiece, why make such an ugly scene? Stop crying. I'll get you a new one. No, I'll get you 5. Okay?" I shoved him away, not allowing him to touch a single piece, then tightly wrapped the scattered coral fragments in my handkerchief. I looked at him coldly. "Xiao Jingyuan, you can't afford to repay this." Jang Fu was about to speak again when I raised my hand and slapped her hard across the face. A crisp, loud smack rang out. "Jang Fu, you knew perfectly well this was the dowry my mother left me. On her deathbed, she wanted me to wear it at my wedding. You knew, but you deliberately destroyed it. Remember this, Jang Fu. I will never forgive you. This debt, I will collect it myself." Xiao Jingyuan froze. "What, Ayao? This was the dowry your mother left you. Why didn't you say so?" I glared at him fiercely. "To a faithless, treacherous person like you, saying even one more word makes me sick. Young lord, since you've chosen Jang Fu, take care of yourself. From now on, you and I are strangers. Please don't call me Ayao anymore. You and I, we have nothing to do with each other from now on." This is the absolute low point of system pressure, and also an extremely classic scene of core asset divestiture. Xiao Jingyuan's stupidity lies in his attempt to illegally transfer benefits to inferior assets, the concubine-born sister, while retaining high-priority assets, the female lead. That coral headpiece that was trampled to pieces wasn't jewelry. It was the female lead's final emotional sunk cost in him. When the male lead arrogantly thought he could exchange the female lead's core beliefs with cheap equivalents from Baibao Tower, he had actually unilaterally torn up the risk control agreement. The female lead's slap and complete severance wasn't an emotional breakdown, but an extremely rational cut loss and block. At night, I stood in the ancestral hall. Looking at the imperial edict placed above, I softly said to Father, "Father, your daughter is willing to marry into the Eastern Palace." Father's eyes reddened. "The crown prince is gravely ill. Marrying him is to bring good fortune through the wedding. Yaoa, if you are unwilling, why not have your maternal grandfather find a young general in the army to betroth you to? That would be better than marrying into the Eastern Palace." I shook my head. "The imperial edict has been issued. If it was Xiao Jingyuan, that would be fine. Her Majesty the Empress knows the Zhang family, and the Xiao family once had a verbal marriage agreement. But if it is another family, that would be defying the imperial decree. Xiao Jingyuan and Jang Fu are engaged, and now the whole city knows about it. My entry into the Eastern Palace is already inevitable. Father, for the sake of the Zhang family and the Gu family, your daughter is willing to enter the palace. There are only 3 days left until I enter the Eastern Palace." I began to take inventory of the dowry my mother left me, carefully taking out each item to wipe clean, then putting them back and sealing the boxes. In the storeroom, I saw the boxes in the corner, and my eyes darkened. Finally, I instructed my maid Chunxing, "Send these boxes back to the Marquis Manor for the young lord." These are things he sent to our manor before. Now that he is engaged to Jang Fu, it is no longer appropriate to keep them. On the day I get married, have someone return them. Chunxing nodded in agreement and had people carry them out. Jang Fu, on the other hand, smugly brought people to my courtyard to show off. "Sister, this is what the young lord asked me to bring back for you." A set of pink dress and a set of hair ornaments. Jang Fu covered her mouth and giggled coyly. "I originally wanted to give sister a wedding dress, but then I thought if I enter the family first, sister probably won't be able to wear bright red when marrying into the Marquis' manor, so I picked a pink one for sister instead. Does sister like it? Oh, and this hair ornament set, although it is not as nice as the coral one, it is still top quality. These pink pearls match the pink wedding dress perfectly." Chunxing's face flushed red. Second miss. The first miss is your elder sister. Besides, when did our first miss ever say she was going to marry young Lord Shiao? Jang Fu's face darkened. When is it your turn to speak? Not knowing your place. Slap yourself. I stopped her. Jang Fu, you are a concubine's daughter. Making such a scene in front of me also shows you don't know your place. Should I teach you a lesson too? If you want to marry young Lord Shiao without worry, you'd better behave and stop provoking me. Otherwise, I have plenty of ways to make sure you can't marry him. Do you believe me? I knew she didn't dare to gamble, because she dreamed of marrying into Marquis' manor. If I interfered, she feared something might go wrong. She forced a smile. The young lord announced in front of everyone that he would be engaged to me. What do I have to fear? I chuckled. Is that so? But what if father claims you've fallen seriously ill and can't marry, so only I can take your place? Do you think that is possible? Jang Fu, remember this. Don't provoke me. Otherwise, I'll make sure your dreams come to nothing. These next few days, whatever you see or hear, don't breathe a word of it to anyone. Otherwise, I can't guarantee you'll be able to keep your position as the young lord's wife. Jang Fu's face turned deathly pale. She stumbled back to her own courtyard and obediently became as meek as a quail. She didn't dare mention a single word about my wedding preparations in the mansion. Yet Xiao Jingyuan kept sending people to deliver things to my courtyard. Jewelry, silk and satin, antiques, ornamental pieces, each worth a fortune. He wanted to make up for humiliating me that day, but I no longer needed it. I had someone sell all the precious items he sent and converted them to silver, then donated everything to the charity hall. I instructed them to set up porridge stalls on my wedding day to distribute porridge, first to pray for blessings for the Crown Prince, and second to help the poor. 3 days later, the Crown Prince and I were wed. Because the Crown Prince was gravely ill, I married into the Eastern Palace, and the Crown Prince could not personally come to receive me. The Emperor and Empress felt guilty, so the wedding procession was extremely grand. 100 carriers of betrothal gifts, plus my dowry. Over 200 carriers in total were carried out of the Jang family, drawing amazement from everyone. The Shiao family's betrothal procession was blocked at the alley entrance. Watching my bridal sedan being carried out of the alley, Xiao Jingyuan asked curiously, "The Crown Prince is gravely ill. Which family's daughter is marrying in at this time?" The onlookers nearby enthusiastically explained, "It is the eldest miss of the Jang family. She is now the Crown Princess." The bridal sedan was just passing by Xiao Jingyuan. The sedan curtain was gently lifted by the wind, and a corner of the lifted bridal veil also fluttered up. I raised my eyes to look outside the sedan, and my eyes met Xiao Jingyuan's directly from then on. Young Master Shiao became a stranger. How is that possible? The Crown Prince is gravely ill. How could Prime Minister Jang marry off his legitimate daughter? Isn't that condemning her to widowhood? Hey, you don't know. Today is exactly Miss Jang's 18th birthday, and she is not yet betrothed. Who would dare disobey the imperial marriage decree? She is a perfect match for the Crown Prince anyway. A few days ago at the Prime Minister's daughter selection, I thought the young Lord of Genuine Marquis would choose the eldest miss, but he chose a concubine-born daughter instead. Oh my heavens, wasn't the eldest miss childhood sweethearts with young Lord Shiao, with a verbal marriage agreement? How could he choose someone else? If the young lord didn't like her, why didn't he say so earlier? Isn't this harming someone? Xiao Jingyuan had long been standing there in a daze. He never expected that because of his broken engagement I really married someone else. And this someone else wasn't an ordinary person. It was the Crown Prince. He turned and rushed after the wedding procession. But the moment he turned, someone grabbed him. It was Jang Fu. "Young master, don't chase her. Sister loves wealth and status." She said the position of Crown Princess is prestigious. She married willingly. Xiao Jingyuan's eyes turned bloodshot. "You are lying. How could she have done this willingly? If I hadn't chosen you 3 days ago, she wouldn't have married into the Eastern Palace. I am the one who ruined her. Did you know about this all along? You are clearly younger than your elder sister. Yet you cried and said you'd be assigned in the official matching. You said if no one saved you, you'd have no way out. Damn me. I actually forgot that I was older than you. She would also be assigned in the official matching. I believed you when you said the Prime Minister would find her a way out and she wouldn't be matched. But I never imagined she'd marry the Crown Prince. Xiao Jingyuan was filled with regret. Jang Fu cried until her eyes were red. Young master. Sister agreed to this herself. These past few days at home, she was happily packing her dowry. Who wouldn't want to be the Crown Princess? It is the most supreme position. Do you think she really wanted to marry you? You didn't choose her, and she didn't care at all. Slap. Xiao Jingyuan backhanded her across the face. Shut up. If it weren't for you, why would I have broken off the engagement? Why would I have let her marry someone else? He shoved Jang Fu aside and chased straight after the Eastern Palace's wedding procession. At the palace gate, his swift horse blocked the procession. Yao, don't marry into the Eastern Palace. I'll take you as my wife. We had a marriage agreement, didn't we? A guard shoved him aside. How bold. Who dares block the Crown Princess's palanquin? Can you bear the consequences if you delay the auspicious day? Hearing the commotion, I stopped their argument. I said clearly and loudly, young Lord Shiao, our two families only had a verbal, joking marriage agreement. Besides, you've already chosen my concubine-born sister as your wife and are sending betrothal gifts today, aren't you? Today is my grand wedding with the Crown Prince. The auspicious day was chosen by the Imperial Astronomical Bureau as the most favorable time. Young Lord Shiao, by blocking us like this, are you trying to ruin my marriage with the Crown Prince? Do you wish harm upon the Crown Prince? I was marrying into the Eastern Palace to bring good fortune through the wedding. The auspicious time was calculated by the Imperial Astronomical Bureau as the most beneficial hour for the Crown Prince's health. If we miss it, wouldn't that mean not wanting the Crown Prince to recover? Xiao Jingyuan's eyes were red, his clothes disheveled, and he said hoarsely, Yao, you know I don't truly love Jang Fu. I just felt sorry for her and wanted to help her a little. I said I would marry you in half a year. Why couldn't you wait for me? I smiled coldly. Young Lord Shiao, you made your choice, so you are no longer my destined one. I told you. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. The auspicious time is almost here. Let's go. Here appears an extremely absurd information gap and cognitive dissonance. Xiao Jingyuan thought he held the power to interpret the rules, able to press the pause button at will, making higher dimensional rules. The imperial marriage decree yield to his philandering, but he overlooked the objective laws at the system's foundation. The forced settlement of supreme power never heeds the stalling tactics of low-level players. The female lead no longer needed to personally engage in the struggle. She directly borrowed the Empire's highest-level defense mechanism, the auspicious hour for the wedding ritual and the Crown Prince's safety, to deliver a merciless system-level crushing blow to the scumbag. Before the absolute barrier of power, his regret was cheaper than dust. An attendant announced loudly, "Raise the palanquin. All unrelated persons step aside." Crown Prince Yuanjing had been bedridden with serious illness, recuperating only in the Eastern Palace. As the only legitimate son of the Emperor and Empress, they were deeply worried about him. Now, seeing him take a wife, they also hoped we could live in harmony. Bowing to heaven and earth, the hair-binding ceremony, the nuptial wine, everything proceeded smoothly. On the wedding night, the Crown Prince looked at me with a gentle expression. This prince's health is poor, and couldn't personally welcome the bride. You've been wronged. I laughed softly and gently. Since your highness knows this consort has been wronged, then this consort is no longer wronged. When your highness recovers in the future, accompany this consort on the return visit to my family, and give this consort enough face. That will suffice. The dragon and phoenix candles burned through the night without extinguishing, and the Crown Prince and I became a true married couple. Early the next morning, the wedding nanny came to collect the bridal veil. Seeing the red stain, she left for Fengyi Palace to report with a beaming smile. When the Crown Prince and I went to pay our respects, the Empress held my hand and praised repeatedly, "Now that you are married, it is truly as the Master said. It is beneficial to the Crown Prince. It is all thanks to the Crown Princess." Rewards from the Emperor and Empress were carried into the Eastern Palace like flowing water, showing their satisfaction with me as the Crown Princess. On the second day after the wedding, the Empress handed over all the management authority of the Eastern Palace to me. A month later, she held a palace banquet, inviting noble ladies and young noblewomen into the palace to let everyone know the good news that the crown prince's health was slowly recovering after the wedding blessing. Jang Fu entered the palace together with Xiao Jingyuan. In her capacity as the future wife of the Genuine Marquise's heir, she was not well received among the noble young ladies. First, because of her lowly status, yet she had schemed her way into the position of the heir's wife. Second, because there had always been a distinction between legitimate and illegitimate children. Even if she became the heir's wife in the future, the noble ladies and madams of the capital still looked down on her. When she saw me, she came forward with a pitiful expression to pay her respects. Fu greets elder sister. The nanny sternly rebuked. Second, Miss Jiang, when you see the crown princess, you must not use your former address. Once inside the Eastern Palace, the crown princess's status is noble, and you must not break the rules. Also, the Eastern Palace has been blessed with one joyous occasion after another. Don't go crying and bringing bad luck, scaring away all the good fortune. If Her Majesty the Empress blames you for it, can you bear the consequences? Pretending to cry and acting pitiful had always been Jang Fu's specialty. Now, after being scolded by the nanny, she swallowed her sobs back into her throat, her face flushed red from holding it in. A noble lady who was close to me whispered in my ear, "On the day the crown princess got married, she cried and made a scene because the young lord chased after the wedding procession. She nearly didn't get her own marriage settled. Later, she finally got engaged to the young lord of Genuine Marquis, but she still goes around acting pitiful everywhere. It is really laughable. Except for those men with water in their brains, who can't see through her tricks, as expected of a concubine-born daughter raised by a concubine. All she has are these underhanded tactics." I chuckled lightly. This had always been Jang Fu's way. She would always cry and act weak, softening men's hearts, and stole my marriage. Now I want to see whether the marriage she stole will turn out as she wished. The twin lotuses of the Eastern Palace were the most famous, and noble ladies and madams all gathered by the lake to admire the lotuses. Xiao Jingyuan walked up to me, looking haggard. He looked at me with a worried expression. "Yao, is the crown prince seriously ill after the wedding? The crown prince hasn't even attended the grand court sessions. Is he already gravely ill? I told you long ago, I would marry you. Why must you be so stubborn and insist on marrying into the palace?" My engagement to Afu was just a stalling tactic. I never truly intended to marry her. How could I let a concubine's daughter become my young lord's wife? I said, "The position of young lord's wife is only for you, Jiang Yao." The nanny spoke coldly from the side. "That doesn't sound right, young lord. I heard that the second miss of the Jang family has been telling others that she already had intimate relations with you. How come you turn around acting all heartless? You won't marry the second miss, yet you went to the Jang family with betrothal gifts. I've never heard of sending betrothal gifts to take a concubine. Besides, who the young lord wants to marry has nothing to do with our crown princess. You are just a future brother-in-law. How could you say such things in front of your wife's elder sister? Don't you know proper etiquette?" The nanny's words were loud and clear, letting all the madams nearby hear everything. The madams looked at the Marchioness of Genuine with different eyes now. The Genuine Marquis manor really has no standards. Even a verbal marriage agreement should be honored. Yet they break it off just like that. He married the second miss, yet still wants to string along the first miss. And when the first miss married him, he puts on a love-struck face. Lover-struck my ass. A man who can't keep his pants on, saying he can't forget the first miss, then turns around and gets intimate with the second miss. The Genuine Marquis manor really has such fine family values. What were the Marquis and Marchioness thinking, letting a concubine-born enchantress become the young lord's wife? That is absolutely laughable. The Marchioness of Genuine's face turned pale, then flushed, wanting to blame me for being relentless. But thinking about it, I am the crown princess. How would she dare say a word of refusal in front of me? Besides, I am currently favored by the emperor and empress. She dares not act rashly, only glaring hatefully at Jang Fu. The madams must have misunderstood. Jingyuan made his own rash decisions while we weren't in the capital. The position of young master's wife isn't something just any nobody can take. The young master's wife of our Marquis manor must come from a prestigious family. How could it possibly be someone born of a concubine? Back then, Jing Yuan was blinded by foolishness and broke off the engagement with the eldest miss. How could our Shiao family marry the second miss? Wouldn't that be slapping our own face? As soon as the words fell, Jang Fu's eyes reddened behind them. She choked out with tears. What is Madam saying? The young master and I are already engaged. He won't marry anyone else. Besides, he and I have been intimate. How can he abandon me after having his way? Xiao Jingyuan growled lowly. Shut up. If you hadn't gotten me drunk and worn your sister's clothes, how would I have mistaken you for someone else? If you hadn't deliberately set me up, how would I have touched you? Jang Fu screamed. Nonsense. When you held me that night, you were clearly calling my name. You said you liked my charm, liked my delicate appearance. Xiao Jingyuan roared. Impossible. I said it was only to help you get through the marriage decree. The only one in my heart is... Shut up, the Marchioness shouted, her face ashen. Do you want to bring death upon the entire Shiao family? If he dares to drag me into this, he'll be offending the royal family. How could the Marchioness let them speak such nonsense? Jang Fu knelt before me in tears. Please, Crown Princess, seek justice for Fua. I have already given myself to the young master. Yet he ruined my innocence, and the Marquis Manor refuses to honor the marriage agreement. If the young master breaks off the engagement, Fua has no choice but to die. I let out a long sigh. Jang Fu, you are a concubine-born daughter of the Jang family, yet you have repeatedly brought shame upon the Jang family. This is the last time I, as your elder sister, will intervene on your behalf. From now on, I no longer recognize you as a member of the Jang family. Young master of Genuine Marquis, since you have consummated your relationship with my half-sister, and were engaged even though you did not follow the proper customs of parental approval and matchmaker's words. Even if she cannot be a wife, as a concubine, your Shiao family should still take responsibility. Xiao Jingyuan stared at me blankly and could only respond, Yes, I will handle this matter when I return. Crown Princess, will you forgive my past mistakes? What mistake did the young master of Genuine Marquis commit that requires my Crown Princess's forgiveness? The Crown Prince slowly walked out and sat down beside me. He looked at me and said gently, If you want to see lotus flowers, just have someone pick them and bring them inside. Aren't you cold coming out yourself without even wearing a cloak? After saying that, he fastened the cloak in his hands around me. The Crown Prince's gentle attentiveness made everyone present green with envy. Xiao Jingyuan's face was ashen, and Jang Fu dared not utter a single word. The Crown Prince took my hand. It is too noisy with all these people. Let Mother handle the arrangements herself. Yao, come rest with me for a while. He paid no mind to everyone's gazes, simply holding my hand as we headed toward the rear hall, leaving a group of people standing there dumbfounded. What a silky smooth combo this was. Once the female lead completed her leap in social class and core ecological niche, she didn't even need to personally get down and dirty. She only needed to stand at the commanding heights of imperial power, exploit loopholes in the rules, and casually stamp her half-sister with the mental brand of concubine. You see, forcibly bundling and locking in inferior assets, letting them torment each other through internal friction. This is the privilege of those who make the rules. And the Crown Prince's appearance was the final dimensional reduction kill on Xiao Jingyuan's remaining self-esteem. Before a true superior, you don't even deserve the qualification to atone. After the palace banquet, everyone in the capital city knew that the Crown Prince doted on the Crown Princess, not letting her suffer even the slightest grievance. Truly enviable. After Xiao Jingyuan and the Marchioness returned to the manor, they only sent someone to the Prime Minister's manor to say that the Marquis Manor could only take Jang Fu as a concubine. Jang Fu threatened to kill herself, demanding her father stand up for her. Father despised her for disgracing the Prime Minister's manor, saying only that if she refused to marry, he would find her a match and send her far from the capital to be a proper wife. But Jang Fu only wanted to marry into a noble family. How could she possibly agree? After much deliberation, she could only bow her head and get into the Marquis Manor's pink sedan chair, entering through the side gate to become a concubine. The Marchioness then hurriedly proceeded to arrange a wife for the young lord. Because the Genuine Marquis was still a powerful noble family, the position of the young lord's wife was still enticing. Soon they settled on the legitimate daughter of the Pingyang Earl's manor. Who knew that on the wedding day, Jang Fu actually rushed into the wedding hall, claiming she was carrying the young lord's child, demanding he elevate her to equal wife, or else she would abort the child. The legitimate daughter of Pingyang Earl immediately lifted her veil and demanded to break off the marriage. Xiao Jingyuan, if you dare elevate her to equal wife and let her give birth to an eldest illegitimate son, the Pingyang Earl's manor won't let this go. Xiao Jingyuan was furious, roaring at Jang Fu. Jang Fu, you've harmed me to this extent, and you still dare to threaten me. If not for your meddling back then, how would I have broken off the engagement and lost a Yao? Now you still dare to use the child in your belly to threaten me. You truly are a vicious woman. Summon known come, if she wants to die, give her a bowl of abortion medicine, and get rid of the child. The Genyuan Marquis Manor isn't afraid of having no one to bear heirs. We don't need the one in your belly. Besides, the main wife hasn't given birth to a legitimate son yet. Even if you are pregnant, the Marquis Manor won't let an illegitimate son be born first. The servants rushed forward and dragged Jang Fu away. That night, a bowl of abortion medicine was forced down Jang Fu's throat. By midnight, the fetus had been expelled. When I heard about it, I sneered. Jang Fu had been raised by her concubine mother to be foolish and stupid. At first, men would fall for her pitiful and delicate act. But wouldn't they get tired of watching her cry after a while? Yet she was never satisfied, thinking she could manipulate men with this. But what she didn't know was, in noble households, what do tears count for? Acting pitiful, being coquettish and playing dumb. Only concubines resort to such tricks. A proper wife would never stoop to that. From then on, Jang Fu's life in the inner courtyard of the Genyuan Marquis Manor was not good. The new young Marquis's wife was harsh, petty, and calculating. In the 3 months since their marriage, the young Marquis couldn't spend a single night in his concubine's courtyard. Even if she came to pay respects and glanced at the young Marquis one more time, she would be scolded by the wife. A few months into our marriage, I fainted one day while paying respects to the Empress, and the pulse diagnosis revealed I was pregnant. The Emperor and Empress were overjoyed. The imperial physicians had originally said the Crown Prince might not live more than a few months. But now, half a year had passed, and the Crown Prince was still alive and well. Though weak, there was no sign of the dying pulse from before, and now that I had an heir, the Crown Prince would have a successor. Yuan Jing had just embraced me, his face full of joy. I am about to become a father too. I originally thought I wouldn't live much longer, but now I have this extravagant hope of growing old together with a Yao. After my first 3 months of early pregnancy passed and the pregnancy was stable, the Empress permitted noble ladies to enter the palace to pay their respects to me. I saw Jang Fu and the Genyuan Marquis Manor's young madam once again. The young madam looked at me with envy on her face. Crown Princess, you are so blessed you got pregnant just a few months after marriage. But this humble wife hasn't had any movement in her belly since getting married. I heard that the young master previously had a marriage agreement with the Crown Princess, but it was later cancelled because of Sister Jiang. I thought Sister Jiang was the blessed one, but as soon as I entered the household, she miscarried. She is just as unlucky as me. She spoke lightly, but her words pierced Jang Fu's heart. But Jang Fu kept her composure, looking coldly at the young madam. It is only natural that this concubine isn't pregnant now, after all. The young madam is so jealous that she keeps the young master in her room and won't let him take a single step into any other concubine's quarters. But even though you monopolize the young master every day, there is still no sign of anything. Seems like you really are an unlucky one. Back then you made me lose my child. The sins you committed. Who knows if the Marquis Manor will ever have an heir? When you've done evil, there will always be karmic retribution. Xiao Jingyuan was mentally exhausted dealing with his wife and concubines. I smiled and said, the young Marquis's wife probably doesn't know that concubine Jiang and the young Marquis had secretly pledged their love before marriage, and their mutual affection led to a secret pregnancy. I suppose some jealousy is to be expected. But the young Marquis is quite the romantic, so the young Marquis's wife should pay more attention. In the future, there will surely be no shortage of concubines and bedmaids. Madam will have plenty more to deal with later. Why don't I bestow 2 palace maids upon Madam to serve as your right and left hands? You can take them into the household as concubines. After Madam trains them for a few days, they can help carry on the young Marquis's lineage in the future. Coming to disgust me to my face, but I am the crown princess. If I want to bestow a few people to annoy them, it is even easier. Xiao Jingyuan knowing I was pregnant was one thing, but seeing it with his own eyes was another. Because of my pregnancy, I carried an even more gentle and alluring air, and because I was nourished daily with tonics, I was becoming more and more beautiful. And when he turned to look at his one wife and one concubine, one harsh, one cold, quarrelling endlessly in the manor every day. Now I had also bestowed 2 palace maids upon the manor. For a moment, the Marquis manor was like the chaos of 6 states conferring titles, a complete mess. But strangely, even after 2 concubines entered the manor, there was still no sign of pregnancy. This time, even the Marchioness couldn't sit still. Rumors and gossip can kill. Now people in the streets were saying that perhaps the problem was with the young Marquis. The Marchioness went around clarifying that it was impossible, because Jang Fu had indeed been pregnant with the young Marquis's child before. However, when the Marchioness invited an imperial physician to examine the young lord's pulse, it was discovered that someone had drugged him, and he would likely never be able to have children again. Xiao Jingyuan said in disbelief, "Drugged it? Who drugged me? A few months ago, Fue was even pregnant with my child. How could anyone have drugged me?" As he said this, he suddenly realized who would hate him enough to harm him and drug him. There was only one person. He rushed into Jang Fu's room, grabbed her by the throat, and roared, "Jang Fu, you are the one who drugged me, aren't you?" Jang Fu laughed, looking at him with smug madness. "Yes, I am the one who drugged you, so what? On your wedding day, for the sake of some legitimate daughter of Earl Enyang, you personally struck down your own flesh and blood, taking his life. You once said you would let me bear your child, but later you said that until a legitimate son was born, you wouldn't allow a bastard to be born. If that is the case, then let's all just not have children. What is so special about her being the legitimate daughter of Earl Pingyang? I am still the Prime Minister's daughter. Who is inferior to whom? Xiao Jingyuan, you are the one who is fickle-hearted, yet you blame me for seducing you. You wanted the younger sister and the older sister too, and in the end, you get nothing. My child is gone, and the doctor said I may never be able to have children again. If that is the case, then let's all just not have any. What is the use of the young madam monopolizing you every day? She still can't give birth either. Ha ha ha. She is even more of a joke." Xiao Jingyuan's eyes turned blood red. Asterisk, 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 number, asterisk, asterisk. You are trying to make our Xiao family die without heirs. Jang Fu laughed even louder. "That is right, I want you to have no heirs. You didn't want my child, so you won't get to have anyone's child. Let's all just die together." Just as she was speaking, the young madam rushed in and started tearing at and hitting Jang Fu. During the scuffle, she pulled out the hairpin from her head and viciously slashed it across Jang Fu's face. Asterisk, asterisk, number, asterisk, asterisk. You made the young master lose his heirs. You vicious woman, you deserve to be drowned in a pig cage. Jang Fu screamed and covered her face, blood seeping through her fingers, dripping all over the floor. Jang Fu's face was disfigured, and she was confined to her courtyard, forbidden from going out. Every day the young madam would send rough servant women in to slap her face, and once the wounds healed they would slap her again. Over and over, a fate worse than death. Xiao Jingyuan was devastated by losing his ability to have heirs, and spent every day locked in his outer study drinking heavily. He even stopped attending to his duties at the government office, and the servants in the mansion, seeing that he never went to the rear courtyard, brought in several pretty boy servants to please him. Xiao Jingyuan, thinking he could never have heirs anyway, developed a psychological aversion to his wife and concubines, and became even more reluctant to visit the rear courtyard. The pretty boys the servants brought suited him perfectly, and he spent every day fooling around with them in the study later. Fearing the strict rules of the Marquis's manor and worried about being discovered, he even rented a place outside, becoming completely uninhibited. By the time the Marquis and his wife discovered that Xiao Jingyuan hadn't returned to the mansion for a long time and sent people to find him, Xiao Jingyuan had already contracted diseases all over his body, and under the instigation of male prostitutes, had started taking 5-stone powder. When they carried him back to the mansion, they summoned the imperial physician for treatment. The imperial physician shook his head and sighed. The young lord has been so reckless with his body, contracting such filthy diseases. He must never touch the women in the mansion again. This is an incurable illness. The young lord's skin will slowly rot, it will stink, ooze pus, and eventually the poison will reach his heart and he will die. When Xiao Jingyan's wife and concubines heard the news, their world collapsed. The young lord had contracted a filthy disease. If word got out, they would have no face to live. The Marquis and his wife sealed the gates of the Marquis Manor, not letting a single word leak out. But Xiao Jingyuan still couldn't hold on for even a month, and breathed his last in the mansion. The young lord's wife made a scene demanding to return to her maiden family, and the Marquis also lost all spirit, retiring to return to his hometown. The Marchioness sold off or released all the concubines from the inner quarters. As for Jang Fu, the Marchioness sent her to the family temple to have her head shaved and practice Buddhism there, spending the rest of her life with the dim lamp and ancient Buddha. Marquis Zhenyuan and his wife sold everything, and with several carriages carried Xiao Jingyuan's coffin back to their hometown. From then on, there was no more news of them. As for me, in the spring of the following year, I gave birth to the Crown Prince's legitimate eldest son, Yuan Chen. His Majesty the Emperor was overjoyed, granted amnesty to the realm, bestowed upon him the title of Crown Prince's heir, and wanted to personally raise him at his knee. The Crown Prince and I were a loving couple, but the Crown Prince's health still slowly deteriorated. In the year Yuan Chen turned 15, Yuan Jing passed away. His Majesty the Emperor grew old, and the crown grandson Yuan Chen ascended the throne, becoming a wise ruler. And I became the youngest Empress Dowager. Time flew by like a shuttle, and everything became clouds of the past, all becoming my memories. Maggie Liu's strategic review. True revenge is never about dirtying your own hands to execute trash, but about building barriers and looking down as trash devours each other in the same recycling station. In constructing this spring-loaded narrative, I utilized the coldest social Darwinism. When two people with extremely low moral baselines are locked tight in the same interest pool, they will inevitably implode over the remaining resources: offspring, status, sterilization, disfigurement. Venereal disease are merely the inevitable manifestations of their foundational logic collapsing. And our female lead. She had long completed her asset restructuring, sitting firmly at the highest seat of imperial power. Never try to save someone who tries to drag down your value yield. The position transcend. Then look down from above. If you also enjoy this guilt-free systematic liquidation pleasure, leave your data chips in my comment section. See you at our next game. Be there or be square.